So we have our pens down, eyes over here, because I want to make sure that we're clear about what we're going to do. Romeo, put your pen on, hon. I know you're going to continue in a minute. So what I wanted to go over with you guys is, because I know some of you started, and some of you were thinking about all these questions that you have, but I also wanted to tell you that sometimes if we're stuck on a question or what questions to write, one thing that you guys can do, and you could do it as partners today because there's 2 books about winter, it's that you can do a picture walk, right? And think about what questions you have about what you're noticing here. What questions do you have about the pictures in the book? Okay, so for example, let's look at this picture here. Does any of you have a question about this picture right here? What's your question, Nashali?
How it snows.
So you're curious about how does it snow? Interesting. Did you have a question about this picture here?
How does snow come?
So it's basically like what she was saying. So you agree with her question, right? So you're wondering, how does it snow? Where does the snow come from? Beautiful. So let's look at some other, well, let's look at this one because this is interesting. Romeo, Giancarlo, do you have a question maybe about this picture here? What's your question?
How are snowflakes made?
Oh my goodness, awesome. High five. And this is where I focus because I also have that question. So you see that by looking at pictures, right? Sometimes we might be stuck like, oh, I don't know what question to write about. But if you do a picture walk and you're thinking about a picture, then you get your question. And that was awesome. How are snowflakes formed? So let's go ahead and write those questions. You have another one? Okay, so tell us your question and then we'll write them down.
How are snowflakes different from each other?
Oh, so how are snowflakes different from each other? That's an awesome.
I'm still writing one.
So let's write them now. His question was, how are snowflakes formed? And her question was, why does it snow or where does snow come from? So we could write, we already thought of 2 questions. So I want to see you writing it down. Snow. Where can we find, right, this is snowy. If we cover the Y, very good. Now it says snow. Don't worry about that. Cross it out and keep going, hon. It's okay. It's a draft. You could cross it out and keep going. It's okay. Beautiful. So what I just did with you guys together is what I want you to practice. If you feel stuck and you don't know what other questions to come up with, you guys can do a picture walk. So like you and Nashali can look at this book, and Romeo and Giancarlo can look at this book.
We did not finish this book.
It's okay, but this is why we're in a group, because you're going to do it together. Right? You come up with your question and then you use the text evidence. What is the text saying to answer your question? Okay, so now you're going to think of another question. Awesome. Okay?
No, you did that one. When actually? I don't know, she's over there.
So what's going to be your other question?
I just got like
It's okay. That makes it even better because it gives us more information. More information. I love that Giancarlo is getting ready to look at those pictures and think of another question. Let's look at this one together. Right, so we see here.
this one.
Do you have a question here?
I think the kid go play.
But now you're making a prediction. You're thinking about what they're going to do. But what about, how can you put that into a question? Are you wondering about what they're doing? What do children do or people do during the winter? That's an awesome one. So you can say, you know, what do people do during the winter? No, don't erase it. You know what you're going to do? You're going to go to the writing center and get another organizer because you're ready to add more. Okay? Beautiful. Are you ready for your other question?